All right, perfect.
Wait, hey, this is my podcast, Frank.
I didn't know what you were doing.
I'm about to start the show.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Give me. Welcome to Blockbusting. This is all staying in, Frank.
Perfect.
My name is Jay Light. I'm your host. Thank you for joining us today. My guest is one of my best friends, a great comic, the champ of Roast Battle Season 2, Frank Castillo.
Hello, Jay Light.
Nice to have you in the studio.
It's great to be here.
Nice to actually. So I talked about this a little bit on the episode with Pat last week, but we tried to record while we were both at the Motor City Comedy Festival in Detroit.
Yeah.
And we both had writing assignments we needed to do.
Yeah.
And we were up super late. And Frank
was high as shit.
Frank was also high as shit. And so it was like 4 a.m. and I was like, Frank, we have to record this. I got to put it out on time. And he was like, man, can't I sleep? And I was like, no, I know I need it. It was really a shitty thing for me to do.
Not at all.
But you did it because you're a good friend.
Yeah.
And we recorded, and Frank said, I'll give you 40 minutes. And Frank did. We recorded. Frank was lying down. He had a hood over his eyes in the gym of this mansion that we were staying in Eminem's neighborhood.
So funny.
And then we were finished recording, and it was actually a pretty decent episode, and you were pretty lucid. And then I fucked up the recording.
Because I think you hit stop instead of record.
And I didn't realize that you weren't supposed to do that. And so I panicked. But now we're here, and you're wide awake.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm still high as fuck.
Yeah, because you drank. What was it that you were drinking again? Can you tell me about this? This sounds interesting.
It's called Cannade. It's basically like THC syrup.
Okay.
So it's like marijuana syrup. So like you just put it, like I just put it in Sprite, and I put about like 100 milligrams, and then I just like sipped it the past 4 hours.
Damn.
And
so it feels like an edible high.
Yeah.
So it's different. It processes differently.
Yeah, but it's nice because it's like if I just sip it, I'm just like I'm like good the whole I'm not like fucking blown out of my mind. Like I'm like pretty decent right
Interesting. I feel like I've been sober 2 years, and there are times when I definitely am like, man, I wish I was still doing because of innovations in the weed and alcohol market like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this sounds really fucking cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be weird because it's like you've been sober. I mean, you're sober obviously, and then it's like when it comes to medication and stuff, you're allowed to take that, right?
Right. If a doctor prescribes it, you're allowed
So,
to. I know a lot of sober people who take CBD as well.
Yeah.
Because that's something that is because it doesn't give you a high.
It's non-psychoactive.
Exactly.
It's all physical stuff.
Right. And because you can buy CBD at the fucking juice bars these days. You know, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's ever since that girl started having seizures, and they're like, hey, we can use this to stop your seizures. Perfect.
Yeah, because everyone was tripping on the THC stuff, and then they're like, no, we can extract that, and they're just like, oh. Because when I went to Michigan, when I went to Virginia, there was the guy was telling me, he's like, yeah, CBD's fine. I was like, word? And we went to different shops, and they had gummies you can buy that were just CBD gummies. Some of them weren't good, though. You could tell there's oh, these guys are just fucking
they're spraying shit down.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't taste good. There was another batch that I had that I was like, oh, this is perfect.
What does CBD feel like?
CBD is all the physical effects. So it's it's all the calming stuff. It's if you're achy or if you feel your fucking arthritis is kicking in, it's what you take, and it's none of the I'm stoned and all of the I feel good.
Fascinating.
Yeah, so another comic that I know who doesn't ever smoke weed, we just started talking about CBD, and he was like, I just started smoking a CBD strain, and then I just started having getting into CBD oils and stuff, and that's something he can smoke because he said he tried the other stuff and it was just too much for him.
Man, that's what I just do. Sleepy time tea, dude.
Yeah.
That what's it called? Celestial Seasonings Tension Tamer.
Mm-hmm.
That shit is the best. I hope Celestial Seasonings, if any of your brand representatives are listening, I will gladly be sponsored by you guys if you can send me a free case of Tension Tamer. That shit is the best.
Yeah, I've been fucking with not sleeping pills, but non-addictive sleeping pills.
Unisom. Yeah, Unisom. You had some of those.
Yeah, I was fucking with that on the trip, and that shit was amazing. And then they have what's it called? When you get sick, it's
medicine.
It's when your stomach gets nauseous.
Antibiotics.
Dimetapp? No. Epinephrine? No,
that's adrenaline.
That's adrenaline. I'm thinking it's something.
Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Daphne, yeah.
They grind her up and they
Oh my
give it to
god,
you.
this is gonna bug me so much. Anyways, whatever.
Whatever. We don't really have time to figure this out. It just occurred to me that we have a whole bunch of movie-related stuff we need to talk about, and we're getting caught up on talking about CBD and sleepy time things forever. So let's get down to brass tacks. Coming up first, the box office results for this week. This, courtesy of Box Office Mojo, my favorite box office resource. Weekend number 1 is still kind of up for grabs as record September at the box office comes to an end. And it looks like at the end of the day, things are kind of shaken out to where it is going to come back to the number 1 spot at the box office. It's real close, though. It's real close between it, American Made, and Kingsman 2.
What's American Made?
So American Made's the new movie with Tom Cruise where he's a drug runner.
Oh, yeah.
For the CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good. It's getting good reviews. I would like to go see that movie for sure. That's at second place right now with the estimated 17 million and 16,000. So it's coming right in the middle because Kingsman is estimated at 17 million and it is estimated at 17.3. So it's very tight, but it climbing back up to the top. Total gross almost $300 million at this point.
Jesus Christ. How much did it cost to make?
35. They have almost by the end of the time that it's in theaters, I guarantee they will have whatever 10th their budget. I don't know the mathematical term
it's
for
so
that.
Crazy how much they're like gambling on these things. Like you wonder how much the first It made, and then it's like you look at the remakes and it's like no wonder they remake fucking movies.
Yeah. Well, it is now. I mean, this was covered last week or maybe even 2 weeks ago. It's the highest rated R-rated movie of all time, or the highest grossing rather. I mean, the most money out of all R-rated movies. The Exorcist was the only one that it hadn't beaten.
And it beat Deadpool already?
Oh, dude, it beat Deadpool a long time ago.
Why was everyone was tripping?
Deadpool's
on
the highest R-rated comedy of all time.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah,
yeah, because Hangover got taken over by Deadpool.
Okay,
and now it is ahead of all that shit.
Okay.
I still haven't seen it. I need to go see it.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, at this point, I mean, I have my movie pass. I need to go see some. That's the thing. We are at a point now.
You have a movie pass?
I do have a movie
pass.
Pass.
What's a movie pass?
I will talk about Movie Pass if they sponsor me for sure at length because I love Movie Pass.
You like how we set it up?
But it's a subscription service and you can get movies and it's great. $10 a month for unlimited movies. Anyway, moving on. If you sponsor me Movie Pass, maybe I'll talk more about it on the air. But here we go. So the box office right now, the top 10, a lot of movies that I would like to see, which has not been happening the past few weeks. It at number 1, American Made at number 2. I want to go see American Made. Kingsman: The Golden Circle looks like a good movie. Lego Ninjago at number 4. I don't really give a shit.
Hannah said it was actually really funny.
I know
she was high as fuck when she saw it. I mean,
see, it's like. I could get away with going to see Lego Movie and Lego Batman. Well, I could get away with going to see Lego Batman and the Lego Movie, but like this is one of those kid movies that like it would be very weird for me to go see.
Yeah, because all the kids watching this movie play with the Ninjago themed toys.
Yeah, I didn't play with Ninjago themed toys.
Yeah,
when
I was a Bionicle kid.
I played Lego. Yeah, I was a Bionicle kid too, man.
Fuck yeah,
my god, Vatu Nui.
Oh,
what an island!
Amazing.
Would love to vacation there.
I straight up remember like playing the video game online.
Yeah, you had Bionicle online?
Fuck yeah, I did. That was great.
I was a World of Warcraft kid through and through.
Never got into World of Warcraft.
You missed out, man. World of Warcraft was fantastic.
I had a friend who would walk around in high school with a shirt that says, I got accepted to college, I have a girlfriend, and I'm a level 70, like, or whatever. Like, I'm the highest level at fucking World of Warcraft. And you're just like, whoa.
You can do it. You could do it. Flatliners at number 5, a new entry to the market with 6.7 million. Excuse me, I can't read numbers today. Flatliners. I mean, it's a remake, sort of a sequel. I don't really want to go see it. It's got
it's a sequel.
It's like a sequel and a remake combined
of the original
Flatliners, and it is getting blasted by critics. It's got like a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes right now, which I mean, I don't know. I'm not really interested in it, but tell you what comes in, number 6. Would definitely like to see this. Battle of the Sexes.
That actually looks real good.
Battle of the Sexes, it jumped. This is the biggest jump of the week. Went from 16 to 6, and it has 3.4 million in this week's box office. I would definitely like to go see this. Steve Carell, I've always loved Steve Carell ever since The Office. First sitcom I was ever allowed to watch. Fun fact.
Wait, really?
Yeah, this was the first like non-Disney Channel, non-Nickelodeon sitcom I was ever allowed to watch.
That's so.
Was The Office.
I can't imagine growing up and like with parents that are like, you can't watch this. Like my mom was always just like, yeah, I would get to watch like everything,
Yeah,
which is probably why. Anyways, continue.
this is probably why a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
A whole multitude of things. Frank's mom? I just blanked on your mom's name.
Victoria.
Victoria Madrigal. If you're listening right now, I love you.
She'd be
so
so
much.
upset you used her full name. No,
I'll bleep it out. She is. I forget. She is a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I'll bleep out the last name. We've got coming in at number 7, dropping from number 4 is American Assassin, sassy Michael Keaton assassin movie.
I heard that was a really good movie.
I mean, it looks okay. I don't really want to see it. I can see why it's doing well. It's got $3.75 million.
Wait, you said Michael Keaton?
Mm-hmm.
He's the it's fucking Michael.
He's the American Assassin, and then there's Dylan O'Brien, who's also the American Assassin.
I feel as a door guy, we have to go support the Keaton.
I would like to see The Founder still. When I was flying to Detroit, I almost watched The Founder, and because it was on the airplane.
Yeah.
And then I didn't, and I feel like I made a
great.
mistake. Because I napped, I needed to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Number 9, Till Death Do Us Part. Oh wait, sorry, I skipped Home Again at number 8. Number 8, Reese Witherspoon. There's a poster for Home Again up in the podcast studio right now for some reason, over by the door on the way in. I don't know why. Why? Who? Here at the Comedy Store, I cannot imagine a lot of comedians who are hanging out here being fans of rom-coms.
I mean,
can you?
I mean, you're being very sexist right now, Jay. I mean, there's a lot of women here who love rom-com. That was me being sexist.
Yeah, I think we picked up on that one. We picked up what you're throwing down. I will say, as far as rom-coms go, Forgetting Sarah Marshall will always be my number 1.
Well, is Serendipity a rom-com?
Serendipity is not a movie I have seen, so I don't know.
Everyone's gonna laugh at me knowing that I watched Serendipity.
Tell us about Serendipity, Frank.
Serendipity is a great movie. It was John Cusack and what's her name? Fuck. She was like the chick for all the rom-coms at that time. You know what I mean? Like she was in every single she was like.
What time frame is this?
I gotta look
what time frame are we talking?
I feel like it's the 90s. This is gonna be so funny.
Jennifer Aniston.
This is gonna be so funny if this.
She was in the rom-coms in the 2000s. She was in Along Came Polly. You remember Along Came Polly? God, that was part of the string of like Ben Stiller is the hero in every romantic comedy.
Right? Remember
what
that?
a phase.
Oh my God. But also like Ben Stiller made me be like, all right, yeah, maybe I have a chance.
Yeah. And now he's got a new movie out.
2001.
Serendipity came out in 2001. So who's the hit girl in 2001?
Oh, okay, let's see.
Claire Danes? No.
Claire Danes. I think she's like slightly Hispanic.
I mean, you're looking up the movie. You should be able to see it right now.
Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, Jeremy Piven was in it.
Matt Rife's girl.
Yeah, Eugene Levy. Yeah, it was a funny movie. It was like
shout out to Matt Rife.
It was like
for dating John Cusack's
I don't think they're dating.
Kate Beckinsale and Matt Rife.
I think he just made out with her.
No, they were like together.
You think so?
Dude, I know they were. I read all the hot gossip magazines about it.
Yeah, but
they said that they were sources close, that they liked each other a lot. And
okay, yeah, I don't believe that stuff. All right, anyways, so Serendipity was just about John Cusack and them meeting like early and like some serendipitous moment. And then
hence the title.
Yeah, it was like I think she writes her name or address in this book cover. And then she's like, if we're meant to be together, we'll find each other. Some shit like that.
And then
it
happens.
Yeah, he fucking ends up finding, like, the last...
Called it.
Yeah, the last book, like, at the last fucking scene.
The last book at the last library is the book.
No, he goes and he, like, fucking goes and tries to find these fucking... Like, any book he sees, he would, like, pick up and, like, try to look at. And he's like, oh. And then, like, the final one he goes and buys, I think, and he looks and it's, like, her thing.
All right. Frank, I'm going to be honest. I'm really disappointed that you did watch that movie.
What?
That sounds... impressively dumb.
I mean, let's be honest. Frank, before he was the roast battle champion, was the fluff battle champion. No, I was the rom-com champion. Dude, I'm such a softie. Like, I love fucking, like, romantic comedies, like, and shit like that.
Have you considered writing a romantic comedy?
I would, but then...
What would your romantic comedy be if you wrote it?
Oh, God, it would involve a guy. It would involve... If I had to write a romantic comedy, The ending would be you wouldn't see like it would be them about to meet, and then that's how it would end because it would make like you. I wouldn't want you to see if they meet or not. You know what I mean? It would be right before. they're
Wait,
about-
what?
Yeah.
So this is going to be like the memento of romantic comedies.
Exactly. Like
where
that's
you
how
get
I've
to
always
see all the
liked
bits
it.
and pieces. Oh, well, that's kind of what 500 Days of Summer was, though.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the scene that I've always had was like the guy that's like gonna leave and he's like fuck it and he's like leaving and then like this is so stupid. The chick
Leaving
real-
a party.
No, not leaving a party. Like he's just leaving the place where he's from. He's like, I'm just gonna leave.
Oh.
And then like the chick's like, oh, I've realized I've fucked up, and like this is a really great dude. And then she goes to fucking follow him at the airport or wherever. And then like right before there's like it shows them meeting. That's how it ends. It shows her going to the airport to meet him, and then he's about to get on the plane, and then he stops, and that's it.
Okay, I'm really glad that I asked you to elaborate because the way you were saying it, the way you were explaining it before was you made it sound like that they were not going to meet in the entire movie.
Actually, I
like
should do
at
that.
all.
That would be great.
No, that would be
the
terrible.
best-
That would be a terrible romantic comedy.
That would be the best comedy.
You get rid of all the romance. You get rid
It
of
would
half
just
of the
be a
fucking
comedy.
genre.
Isn't
Okay,
that how they made?
I'm glad that we
Okay.
got to that. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Isn't that how Woody Allen made that one movie? Well, he technically made the first romantic comedy because
Annie Hall.
because it was supposed to be a whole different movie, and then he cut it all these small scenes together, and then ended up just becoming a whole different movie.
Yeah, if memory serves.
Yeah.
But I don't see what that has to do with this
I don't know. I'm high
weird.
shit right
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Everything's kicking in.
That can of aid is working out real well for you. You know what movie you should go see while you're high? Maybe not tonight because I don't think it'll be screening anywhere. It is almost midnight here in Los Angeles where we're recording. Our 10th movie at the box office, closing us out, is Mother.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I've just realized I did skip number 9, new movie, Till Death Do Us Part. It's a black people movie where they're killing people who are in love with each other. That's a genre of movie that has been all over the place these days. 1.567 million. It is not in a lot of theaters, but I have a feeling it's going to grow and expand. So good luck Till Death Do Us Part. Mother, closing it out. That's a movie you should go see high.
Yeah.
That movie looks fucking bananas, and I still have not seen that. But that, like I was saying earlier, we're getting to the real good prestige season of movies right now. A lot of these movies I want to go see. I still want to see Mother. I want to see Battle of the Sexes. I want to see Kingsman, American Made, and It. That's half of the top 10 right now. That's impressive. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty good about where the box office is at these days. Let's talk about some other news coming on this week. This one is one that I believe you will definitely be happy about, Frank, because I'm certainly happy about it. Liam Neeson pulls back on proposed retirement from action movies.
Yes.
This is from Slash Film. So earlier this month, he was at a movie festival, and he said that he was not going to do action movies anymore. And guess what? He turned around. This is a direct quote. It's not true. Look at me. You're talking in the past tense. Oh, wait. I guess should I be doing a Liam Neeson voice for this? It's not true. Look at me. You're talking in the past tense.
That was actually a really fucking good Liam Neeson. I was very impressed.
I'm going to be doing action movies until they bury me in the ground. I'm unretired. He's Scottish, right?
I think so.
I'm unretired.
I can't remember who.
He's doing the movies.
I'm so excited. I've always I think someone else said this too, but I always like to imagine like all of the movies is just one movie. Like it's just Liam Neeson's character in just different situations. You know what I mean? It's like different parts of just Liam Neeson's character's life. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's funny.
Like, because it's like you look at like fucking what was it? God, like you look at like Taken and all that stuff. It's like, what was the Wolves movie?
The Gray.
That's what happens after Taken. That's how I always imagined it. And then there's also like a Walk Among the Graves.
I've never seen that. A Walk Among the Graves?
Or Walk Among the Tombstones. That was a
That
really
sounds
good
even
one.
more intense.
Yeah, he was like I think it's like fuck, I can't remember how it ended, but it was like he's like a detective, and then like he quits because he's fucking chasing down this fucking like a criminal, and then you find out like he like fucking takes like a wild shot, and then like he runs down and he misses, and he doesn't get him, and as he's walking back, like all the people are like crowding around this person, and they're like, what? And he walks up and it's a fucking kid, and then that's like when he stops becoming a police officer.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a really good book. I think he dies.
Movie?
Or it's a really good movie. It's also a book. I don't know if I made that up. Yeah.
I'm not gonna check you on that one.
Sweet.
We'll leave that to the listeners. Good. I'm glad that Liam Neeson's still gonna be sticking around in action
I fucking
movies.
love Liam Neeson.
He is so good.
Did you like The Gray?
I never saw The Gray.
Oh my god.
I heard it's really good though.
It
He has
is.
to fight off wolves, right?
Oh my, yeah, but it's just such a good fucking movie. Like the whole like leading up to it, and then just there's like a scene at the end of the movie, and you're just like, and then that's it.
Nice. Other news this week: Tom Cruise. So he's at number 2 in the box office right now with American Made. I don't remember if you saw this news story from a little while ago. This is courtesy of Uprocks. Tom Cruise officially addresses the Valkyrie stunt butt theory that's taken the internet by storm.
What?
So you remember? Did you see that movie Valkyrie
Loved
that came
it.
out in 2008? The same year as the movie we're going to be
Mhm.
talking about today. So there's a meme that went around earlier this year that said, "Hello, please. I present the theory that for one single shot in Valkyrie at 5 minutes and 12 seconds, Tom Cruise wears a fake butt. Observe." So I'm going to show you this photo.
Oh,
Feel free to take a look up at it. It's in the article. We got the link in the show notes.
nah, that's a real butt.
I know. So it looks like a fake butt, though.
I mean, yeah, but Tom Cruise has like a muscly butt.
Exactly. So this is what Tom Cruise had to explain himself to. He said, "I have no idea. There was no prosthetic in Valkyrie. No." So he had to talk about his own juicy butt.
Tom Cruise got a nice butt.
The fact that it is not a fake butt is further backed up by Cruise's trainer Wes Okerson, who told Men's Health that it was absolutely real and the product of hard work and dedication.
Absolutely true. Have you seen him in Vanilla Sky? Which everyone hates that movie, but one of my favorite movies.
Do you see his butt in Vanilla Sky?
I think he's naked sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I've never seen Vanilla Sky, so again,
It's a great movie.
for a guy who does a movie podcast, I have a lot of cultural blind spots.
It's all right.
It's a real shame.
You have a Mexican friend. That's all you need.
I do have a Mexican friend. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, bro.
So Tom Cruise, no fake butt. I don't know why people were questioning the capacity is the wrong word. Obviously, I'm not saying people are going to question the capacity of his butt.
He's got an unbelievable ass.
You know what word I'm looking
Yeah.
for.
Why would they question his butt?
Why would they question his butt? Why would they question his butt? The dude does his own stunts. The man climbed onto the outside
Yeah.
of a plane for the fucking Mission Impossible.
Did you see? He fucking climbed all the
whatever
way
the
to
most
that
recent
tower in
was.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
I look at that dude and I'm like, yeah, man, maybe aliens are real.
Yeah. And he's got a butt.
Yeah.
Maybe aliens, you know what? Maybe that's what Scientology will keep you around to do.
Yeah.
Is to give you the courage to go climb crazy skyscrapers and hang on to the outside of planes and get a sweet, sweet ass.
Yeah, I don't believe in most religion, but I believe in Tom Cruise.
I believe in Tom
And
Cruise.
his butt.
Tom Cruise is a good butt. Tom Cruise is such a good butt that people thought it was a fake butt.
Yeah.
That's what we have
how-
to accept.
Yeah, that's how good Tom Cruise's butt. His butt is so fucking perfect. You look at that and your brain goes, no, that doesn't exist.
It could not be.
Mm-mm.
But you know what? It is.
Mm-hmm. If you have the dedication to climb all the way up that tower in Abu Dhabi, you have the dedication to have the perfect butt.
The perfect butt. There's no butt like Tom Cruise's butt. Congratulations, Tom Cruise, on a butt that is so juicy and good. Final news story of the week. This one is very near and dear to my heart in particular, and I'm not sure if you have seen the original movie in question here, Frank. Hocus Pocus TV movie is in works at Disney Channel.
That was the first woman I ever got a boner to.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I remember. You got to Bette Midler, or Bette Midler, however you pronounce
Yeah,
it.
yeah, because that dress was cut, that top was cut a little too low, especially for Bette Midler. Like, she had fucking
Bettly Medley.
I don't know what her name was. She had tits back in the day. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like, if you're a kid,
she has tits now. Let's be real.
it's true. She still got tits.
She
You know
got
what I mean?
titties.
I mean, if I don't want to like, I sound like such a pig right now, but like, if when you're a kid and you're watching like a Disney Channel movie, and then you're just like, oh no, witches are coming, and the kid's just like, fuck, man, maybe I might let these chicks catch me. You know?
I mean, Sarah Jessica Parker was in that movie.
Yeah, but
Sarah Jessica
yeah, but
Parker.
as
She looked good in that movie too. I've got a screenshot of her right now.
but how old is she in that movie? That's weird.
She's
you
in
know what
her 20s, dude.
I mean? In her movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay, then that's not weird.
No, it's not weird. It's weirder for you to like a woman who's like in her 40s than it is for me to like a woman in her 20s.
Well, I mean, if you
how is it weirder for me to like a woman in my 20s?
But it's also like
her 20s.
You have to compare boobage at the time. You know what I mean? Maybe I was just more of a boob. Does she have as big as boobs as Bette Midler in that movie?
No, nobody has as big of boobs as Bette Midler.
Exactly. I guess that's just the difference. Like I'm a boobs guy, and you're like
I'm a Manic Pixie Dream Girl guy.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm into people in their 20s.
Yeah, you're.
I have only ever dated girls in their 20s, unless I was in high school.
That's true. I remember when I was young and I dated like a girl that was older than me. She was like 4 or 5 years older than maybe. No.
I'd love to continue this, but we're getting real off track from the key story, which is that they're doing a remake of Hocus Pocus. Disney Channel, this is courtesy of Deadline Hollywood. Disney Channel is in the early stages of a development on a Hocus Pocus TV movie, a reimagining of the 1993 cult classic with Bette Midler. We're gonna pronounce her name all the time.
Is she back?
Betty, who fucking cares? I'm
Them
sure.
Titties coming back?
No, they're not coming back. Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy and Jimmy. So they will have a new cast and a new director. They are currently. It doesn't really have a whole lot of info. You know, it says the new thing is being written by someone who writes on the show The Royals, which is a show about girls who have like a prince.
Hocus Pocus. That's what I called it back in the day.
Oh my God, Frank. Frank. Are you jerking off to Bette Midler?
Yeah, man. Don't pretend like you ain't the only one. I mean, I'm not.
More like
I'm so
more like beat your meatler. Am I right?
More like Betty Fiddler.
That
all right,
doesn't make as much sense.
Let's keep going.
I'm really excited about the Hocus Pocus coming back.
I'd be down
I will definitely watch the Hocus Pocus remake.
Yeah, I'll jerk.
I'll
watch. You almost fell back.
I almost just fell out of my chair. Oh man. Frank's going to jerk off to the Hocus Pocus remake, everybody. I'm going to put that officially on the record.
Guys, you can hold me to it. I'll do it on Instagram.
No,
Live.
Frank's going to hold himself to it. Literally.
Put my dick against
I'm
the
here.
TV screen.
We're here all week. Hocus Pocus, all-time kids classic. I think one of the best Disney Channel movies out there. And not even a Disney Channel movie. It's a straight-up bona fide Disney movie.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the Disney movies. Like, there's a solid while where they were actually kind of killing it. You know what I mean? Like Xenon. The sequel.
Oh, I'm talking. Yeah, Xenon the sequel.
Brink was one of them, wasn't it?
The 13th year. Brink is an all-time. We used to quote Brink at each other in my Spanish class in 11th grade because we hated our teachers, so we would just speak in Brink lines.
That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
What was that Halloween one that they did?
Halloween Town.
It was Halloween Town.
And there's also Halloween Town 2.
Yeah.
And then Halloween Town. Somebody's Revenge.
Oh yeah, and then they did was Magic or Escape to Magic Mountain also Disney Channel movies?
No, that was just a straight up Disney movie.
Oh okay.
Witch Mountain, you mean?
Witch Mountain.
Magic Mountain, different franchise.
Yes,
that's Six Flags.
That's Six Flags.
Six Flags doesn't have a TV network, and I don't think honestly, I don't think I would watch Six Flags if they did have a TV network.
Yeah, because you get that old janky. Weird guy dancing the whole time.
See, he was my favorite part of Six Flags. I love the old weird guy. What I hate is everybody making out and getting gropey in line with each other.
Oh, but that's just where it happens, bro. I remember, like, not being able to do that because I was
a loser
watching rom-coms. No.
I think, look, you're probably right. I was probably just jealous of all these teens because I wasn't getting any action.
Yeah, they were
in my prime.
Yeah.
Six Flags attendance years.
Yeah.
Back in good old Colleyville, Texas.
Yeah, you're just like, I'm here for the rides, and you're like, fuck this. I'm not even.
Yeah, I just want to ride the Texas Giant, and all of a sudden you're gonna be getting handsy with each other in line while the roller coaster roars over your head. I have a ruined experience now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. They're getting on a different ride.
See, this is the thing. If I had caught you jerking off to Hocus Pocus when we were kids, then probably we wouldn't be friends now. And I'm glad that I didn't have to walk in on that happening.
That's so funny.
I'm glad that I didn't have to deal with that. We would have a very different lifestyle.
That's true.
Man. I'm very excited for that to come back. I'll definitely be watching that. Oh, I encourage you all to do that too. Let's go ahead, get down to the nitty-gritty of it, Frank.
Yeah.
So, Frank Castillo, folks, hates a little movie called Wanted.
Yes.
Now, before you go into it,
we should describe Wanted.
Let's describe Wanted.
The movie.
So, Wanted, this is straight from the Wikipedia page. Thank you, Wikipedia. One, it is a 2008 American-German action thriller film, loosely based on the comic book miniseries of the same name.
Super loosely.
Hold on. Hold off.
So upset.
Let me get all the exposition out of the way before you throw in your opinions, Frank.
All
Your
right.
hot, spicy opinions. Loosely based on the comic book miniseries of the same name by Mark Millar and J.G. Jones. The film stars James McAvoy, Morgan Freeman, and Angelina Jolie. The storyline follows Wesley Gibson, a frustrated account manager who secretly discovers that he's the son of a professional assassin and decides to join to the fraternity, a secret society in which his father worked. So, this movie came out in 2008. It was really fucking cool. I remember seeing this in theaters. I was pumped. I had my mind blown by some of the action sequences. It was directed by this guy, Timur Bekmambetov, who's a really cool Russian director. And there was so many cool sequences. It did very well critically. It received, according to Rotten Tomatoes, a 72%. And it made buku bucks at the box office, $341.4 million on a budget of $75 million. And Frank hates this movie.
Well, I guess I should clarify. I don't hate the movie. I hate the fact that I think it could have been way better. Like when.
So you do, for intents and purposes, you hate this movie because
only
it did not live up
it
to your
did not live up to my
expectations.
expectations. It
So-
was a good movie. Like if I had not have read the comic book and just watched this movie, I would have loved it. It had a lot of great things. It had like mysticism. It had the whole fucking like, oh, like this is how we show you blah blah blah. Like the fight scenes were cool. Him getting trained was sweet. Like the fucking Angelina Jolie shooting herself in the fucking head and 8 other people was fucking super tight.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was a good premise. Like Morgan Freeman being the bad guy was always nice because like whenever he's a bad guy,
And because Morgan Freeman is so rarely a bad guy.
yeah, and he's such a good bad guy too.
Yeah.
He was like, "Well, someone kill this motherfucker!" Like you're just like, "Yeah, Morgan, you the bomb."
I loved that.
Yeah, it was great.
Because I
And
grew up on Morgan Freeman being God and Bruce
Yeah,
Almighty.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, he gets to say
It
motherfucker.
was cool to see him be like an evil person.
Yeah.
So the movie wasn't too bad. Like I wouldn't have felt bad spending that money. But since I read the comic, it's like the comic is so good. One, Mark Miller is one of my favorite writers, and the artist is amazing. So I'm gonna explain to you kind of just the plot as we go through. I'm gonna read a little from the Wikipedia, but I'm also gonna describe to you like when I was reading.
Well, how about I read the Wikipedia and then you describe what actually happens in the... Oh, wait, you're talking about the comic book now.
book, yeah.
Oh,
Do you want
okay.
to? We should go over the movie first.
Well, the movie... So basically what happens in the movie is that James McAvoy's character, Wesley, he's working at this job. He's getting cheated on. He hates his job. And all of a sudden, he finds that he's a member of the fraternity.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say words? Fraternity.
Yeah.
And he joins up, and then he gets trained in methods of assassination. He knows how to use guns and knives, and he takes a lot of adrenaline through his panic attacks, and he does all kinds of cool stuff. And then there's this thing called the Loom,
Mm-hmm.
and that is
It's where they
picking out
decide their
targets
hits,
to
yeah.
decide who their hits are. And then it turns out that Morgan Freeman has been fucking with the Loom, and he's evil.
Oh my god.
And so they have to go and fix it. And also, Wesley's dad was not dead.
Yeah.
And it turns out was alive the whole time. Was the guy who was trying to kill him at the beginning of the movie.
Yep. But you
Now-
find out he's not trying to kill him.
He's trying to...
Rescue him.
So, great movie.
Oh, but you also got to tell them like how he gets back into like the gimmick that he uses to get back into the fucking castle.
Oh, I forget that.
It was like rats and fucking peanut butter. And
Oh,
shit.
yeah. They have this guy had taught him earlier how to use rats as explosives by putting explosives on the rats. So I guess he really just taught you how to tie dynamite to a rat. It's not really using a rat as an explosive so
Yeah.
much as it is killing rats.
It's an explosive rat.
Yeah. That's some fucking Conker's Bad Fur Day shit right there.
Great game.
I would...
Also jerked off to that. What's funny is
I mean, I tell you what.
you know the exact part that someone would jerk off
Oh,
to.
you know, of course, the exact part that someone jerk off to in Conker's Bad Fur Day. And I am going to. We'll have. God, I got to talk about that on another podcast.
That's so funny.
So there is. They're blowing up the castle with rats, and they get in that way. And apparently, Frank thinks this is ridiculous.
But yeah, it just like I think we were talking about this last time. It was like you remember Wild Wild West?
Yeah.
And there was the fucking big spider and shit. Where it's
Oh
like,
yeah, you gotta talk. You gotta tell this part.
I'll tell this part, but it's like there's parts in movies where you're like, oh, the director just fucking was like, yeah, let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, or like you could tell the director like had like crazy input more than he should. But I mean, it was the same. You know. Anyways, well, it just seemed really weird to me. You know, it was very. It was just.
And why did it seem weird?
I don't know, because it was.
But
just,
then you found out there was a reason why that was in there, right?
Oh yeah, what was it that like I can't remember.
Wild West.
Oh, in Wild Wild West, the reason that the spider was there it was because like sometimes it shit just happened. But like Kevin Smith was saying how he'd written the first he was originally the guy that was going to write one of the Superman movies, so he written like a rough draft. And then he had like sent it to the director, and he's like, "All right, cool, this is nice and all, but like, I want Superman to fight a spider." And Kevin Smith was like, "What? Like, no, that's not fucking. Have you ever been a part? Have you read Superman? Yeah." And he was so adamant about him fighting a spider that he just like the movie just fell apart. And then the next movie that he ended up doing was fucking Wild Wild West, and it just involved a big fucking spider.
Man. And that is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
But that's what I felt like when I was watching this. I was like, oh, like fucking what?
Yeah. Describe to me how it felt to see this movie in theaters and to walk out knowing that it was different from the comic book you loved.
I felt like I got robbed. You know what I mean? Because it was like how do you fuck? It was like it felt like I was like a homeless guy screaming the truth and no one was listening. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it felt like. Because it was like we all left and everyone's like, this is a good movie. I was like, no, but you don't know what it could have been. You know what I mean? Like you fucking like I sat people down and was like preaching the word of the original comic book. And it was just it just fucking upset me so much. Because also my cousin fucking loved that comic too. So it was just like in fucking his honor. Nah, that's dumb. But
that's not dumb. Go with that. That's good.
It was
ride that out.
Yeah, but so can I start describing the comic book?
Yes, describe the comic book.
The comic book was written by
Mark
Miller, who's one of the best comic writers.
Yeah, he wrote Kick-Ass. What else has he written?
He's written fucking everything. He's like it's just such a good he's just an amazing writer. So the whole plot is it's pretty much kind of still like the same movie. The guy's name's Wesley Gibson. He's basically just a huge fucking loser. And he works in a cubicle and he's constantly fucking made fun of by everyone in his goddamn life. Oh, also, he was modeled after Wesley Snipes, and Angelina Jolie's character was modeled after Halle Berry.
Wait. So he's black in the book?
No, in the book he's a white guy, and then the chick that like kills everybody, like his partner Angelina Jolie's character.
Right, but you just said he's modeled after Wesley Snipes.
No.
Who's a black man?
No, Wesley Gibson is his name.
I know, but you just said somebody.
Did I say
modeled
that?
After
I'm high
Wesley
as shit.
Snipes.
Anyways,
who's modeled after Wesley Snipes?
No one's modeled after Wesley Snipes. The Wesley Gibson, the character, is modeled after Eminem, and then Angelina Jolie's character is modeled after Halle Berry. Yeah. So he's a guy who gets fucking made fun of his whole fucking life. He works in a cubicle. Like his overweight African American boss makes fun of him. Like a local Latino gang in his neighborhood makes fun of him. He has an unfaithful girlfriend, and like his best friend is the one that's fucking his girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah. So
played by Chris Pratt in the movie.
Which I mean,
good pick.
Yeah. If I walked in and Chris Pratt was fucking, my fiance, I'd be like, "Good job, babe." It's fucking Chris Pratt. I'm just kidding.
He's a big superstar. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't like. I'd be like, I get it. I think he's on her list. Anyways, Wes. So
I mean, he's single now.
No, they're getting back together.
Him and Anna Faris are getting back together.
They're talking about they're getting back together. But from what I heard,
safe.
It was a lot of. It was mostly on her end, from what I understand.
Really?
There's a lot of from what I understand.
Frank, I thought you didn't read gossip shit.
I mean, I'm in the know. You know what I mean? Me and Faris go way back. Anyways, so he's raised by his pacifist mother after he's abandoned by his father when he's growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And that causes him to be like a huge fucking pussy. That's why he's such a pussy. It's because his mom's a pacifist and he didn't have a dad and all that stuff. And his whole world just changes when the fucking Halle Berry chick, or what's her name in the fucking
Fox.
Yeah, Fox. She comes in to like the place where he always eats. and she fucking kills everybody. She kills everybody in the restaurant, shoots everybody, and everyone freaks out, or he freaks out, and then she tells him, she's like, "Hey, you're actually an assassin. I'm an assassin. This world is run by supervillains. We're in this thing called the fraternity. We're allowed to do whatever the fuck we want as long as we remain kind of secret." So like the cops come, and she like flashes her badge, and the cops are like, "All right, no problem." They just jump in the car and he leaves, and he's fucking tripping out the whole fucking time. And she introduces him to the fraternity and basically tells him that, we wish to recruit you because your father was a supervillain and he was known as the killer. He's like the best killer in everything.
Wesley's dad.
Yeah, Wesley's dad. He's the best assassin. Like his superpower is just fucking killing people, like putting a bullet wherever it needs to go to end someone's life. And he dies. And with the fraternity, it's like one of those things where it's like, they have to replace him, so they get his son. So basically, Fox introduces him to like the 5 dudes that run the fraternity, which are like 5 of the best supervillains. They run like Australia, like China, all the big continents.
Who are the supervillains?
It's basically just Professor Solomon Seltzer, who's a brilliant mad scientist and a leader of the North and South American chapter of the fraternity. He basically trains Wesley and helps him realize his power. And he by having him shoot wings off of flies. And
right, which is in the movie.
Yeah, he puts a gun to his head and he does that, and it's pretty crazy. And then, so they go through and they explain everything while they're in this big base. And he basically tells them that one day all of the supervillains were very tired of just constantly getting the shit kicked out of them by all of the superheroes. So, like, he basically explains that the superheroes are real, supervillains are real. And they basically used to just roam the world, and they used to get their asses kicked all the time. And they all decided at once to have a revolution. So all the supervillains got together, and with like magic and then different like machines from different dimensions that they had stolen, they basically beat the fuck out of all the supervillains in like a 2-week battle. And then they use those machines to like re-wipe everybody's memory and like reinstall like different like
Men in Black style.
Exactly, like a different history. So all of the superheroes that are still alive think that they were superheroes on TV and stuff. So like some of the like, yeah, it's real crazy.
And
like,
they reference real, actual comic book superheroes in this movie, right?
So like, there's a fucking scene. There's like a crazy scene where like one of the heads of, I can't remember if this is how it is, but I remember like there's like a scene where like it just cuts to like the guy that is Superman, and he's just an old dude in a fucking like just in an old folks home because he doesn't remember anything. You know what I mean? He's like, and like a bunch of other crazy stuff, and like I think like there's a joke where like one of the villains is like, I still visit, one of the guys I used to fucking, one of the heads of whoever, and he doesn't even know me, and it's like it's a pleasure for him because he gets to watch this supervillain like struggle.
Right, yeah, he doesn't
or superhero
know.
struggle, yeah. So the professor explains that Wesley also his father used to work for one of the supervillains. And then once they all won, they split up everything and made rules where they're like, we got to be secret. We can't fucking do anything.
Right. And none of this supervillain plot is in the movie at all.
And it's such a good plot because then you realize that it's like all of these people are fucking super evil. Like one of the main supervillains, he was like it's such a good story. He's like a preacher or something, and then he fucking gets like in an accident or some shit, and like he fucking gets covered in fire, and then he dies, goes to the other side, realizes there's nothing, and then when he comes back, he is just the most evil man in the world. And like there's like allusions to him like torturing children and stuff, which is why there was separation in the fraternity ranks.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's such a good book. Then there's like different supervillains. Like there's this dude called Shithead, and he's just 66 pounds of all of the most evil people shit. So it's like a little bit of Hitler, a little bit of fucking the guy who blew up Oklahoma. Like it's Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, Timothy McVeigh. It's such a funny thing. Anyway, so you come to find out.
Is he shaped like a person?
Yeah, but he's just like shitty. Just shit. And it's so funny because the guy's like, well, what's his power? He's like, well, he can be like soft, like diarrhea, or hard, and like he can like change shape and like imitate other people and stuff. It's pretty funny. So the 5 heads of the fraternity are like, they meet every year and vote on what they can and can't do, and everyone's voted on secrecy. That's what we can do. But you find out that like the evil dude wants an open world where they can just rule the whole world and like
and do whatever they want.
fucking rule with an iron fist and shit and like scare people. So
this character is also basically not in the movie at all. It sounds like
he's basically kind of like Morgan Freeman's
it sounds
character.
like it sounds kind of like Morgan Freeman's character gets mashed in with this other.
Yeah,
he's a mashup of a couple different people.
So after all
an amalgam, if you will, if you want to use a $5 word.
Yeah. So but before that big meeting they have the fraternity like starts to train Wesley, and they like basically they have him work in like a meat packing place, and they have him killing cows, so it desensitizes him, and he basically goes and has revenge on anyone that's ever wronged him. So he fucking flips everyone off at work. He fucking
right.
He
and
goes,
they do this in the movie.
Yeah, he beats up all the fucking people and shit. And it's pretty crazy. I think he kills his fucking the girl. Like he goes and like shoots like his friend and shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really
so
funny.
Okay. Well, because we already know what the things that happen in the movie are. Tell me more about the deviations, because that's what interests me the most, because that's the thing that you're mad about this movie.
Yeah.
So tell me about the other things that were like radically different.
One, Shithead's such a great character. Like just a fucking dude as shit is fucking amazing. And also just like all the supervillains as the heads of the fraternity is so good, because it comes out that the other heads of the fraternity start to turn on them. So they just stage a coup, and it's just like supervillains trying to kill everybody, and they basically get through a lot of people. And it's fucking crazy. And it's like, so they stage like a revolution, and they like or like a coup, and they start like killing everybody, and like Fox and him, they realize what's going on, and then they kill Shithead by pouring bleach on him, and then they
poor Shithead.
They kill all the other supervillains and stuff. But that was the thing, is like they don't realize that like everyone else is like has super strength and all that stuff. He can just fucking shoot people. Like he's just the best shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So it gets to a point where like the big climax happens, and he fights the bad guy, and like he kills him and stuff. And then the surprise is that his dad is still alive, and that he almost got assassinated. And he was like, I couldn't think of any. He's like, I didn't want some fucking rookie to just kill me randomly one day. He's like, I wanted it to be someone good, someone I respect. And he's like, and when I would go visit you, and he's like, he talks about like he saw a day where like a bunch of kids beat him up, and he was like invisible at the time, but he watched a bunch of kids beat up Wesley, and his mom came out and was like, good job, you didn't fight back, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, that's when I was like, I'm not going to raise a fucking pussy. He was like, that's when he made the plan to like start fucking having him get trained and stuff.
Okay.
So it's at the end of the book. He's talking to his father. He's so happy, and he's like, I need you to kill me now. And he's like, I couldn't have anyone else do it, and blah, blah. So he gives him his gun, and his dad's he's just sitting there, and he's like, I love you. And his dad's like, I love you too, son. And he fucking puts a bullet in his dad's head. It's just a way better story. It's just a better story, because there's like alternate dimensions. Like there's a part where like he gets introduced to like the team, and they like fucking go to other worlds where like superheroes still exist, and just fucking rip the shit out of them and like steal technology.
Like what?
Like just they go. I can't remember what some of the technology they steal is, but they just go and like they just do raids on other universes. And it's fucking hilarious, because there's like superheroes like flying around, and then you just see one's head explode because fucking Wesley's like got a gun. It's a great fucking. It's just a better. It would have been a way better movie.
So this sounds fascinating. I feel like here's the thing that I never would have guessed until getting to know you more, based on the way you look, is that you're a gigantic comic book nerd.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like, one, it is not the first time that you have had a big problem with how a comic book was adapted into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the second most egregious example for you?
All right, so that was one of them. I can't think of. I'm trying to think of like another one that. I didn't even watch it, but Captain America's Civil War. I knew it wasn't the way it was in the book or the comic book, because Civil War in the comic books was like it was a huge event to where like all of the stories tied into all of the comic books at the time. And the story behind Civil War is that it pits Captain America versus Iron Man,
Mm-hmm.
because there's like a reality show where they're following these like C-level superheroes, just a lot of young guys, and they're following this bigger supervillain. I think his name's Nitro, and they
The sea level guys on the
the
reality
sea levels
show.
on the reality show, and they finally corner Nitro and they beat him up and they like knock him into a school bus, and the cameras are there and stuff, and like he's like, we finally got you, Nitro, blah blah blah, and Nitro's just like, nah, you didn't, and then he fucking blows himself up like a nuclear bomb because that's like his power,
Oh,
and it's right next to a school and right next to a bus full of kids, and it takes out about like 1,000 people, and then that's when the government's like, we have unregistered mutants going around that have no training. We need to get these people registered. We need to um, get their names. We know who they are, and we need to basically police them and train them and blah blah blah. And Captain America's like, no, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, I'm not gonna like. There's these, they shouldn't tell you who they are. And then Captain America's like, or then Iron Man's like, no, this is what has to happen next. So it pits basically a civil war between people, and it's like Spider Man's on one team, everyone's on another.
Hulk's on another
Hulk's
team.
on another team, and it's just fucking crazy. And it was a really good storyline because then it's like there's like a journalist that goes around like trying to get the whole story of everything.
Right.
Yeah, and new alliances are made, and it's fucking nuts. It's like it was really cool because it had to deal with a lot of politics and stuff, and and at the time, it really like spoke to me.
And you didn't even see Civil War.
No, but Captain America, and then like Captain America dies in Civil War at the end of Civil War. He gets shot, and it was like a huge deal because like a bunch of people start dying and like getting fucking hurt. Oh, because Iron Man basically makes a clone of Thor, and then like that's his secret weapon to like kind of like rein everyone in.
Oh, okay.
And then the clone freaks out and like kills like 3 superheroes, and then they're like, "Fuck." And that's when Captain America's like, I can't do this. Like, there's people that are dying. Like, I'm just gonna turn myself in. So everyone gets forgiven, or everyone gets like
Iron
pardon.
Man becomes a narc.
Yeah, everyone gets a pardon, and then except
Narking on the
Captain
supers.
America, and then they put him in like chains. They put him in handcuffs that like make him weaker or like dampen his superpower. So as he's going to court, someone shoots him, and then Captain America dies.
Wow.
And so Steve Rogers is dead.
That sounds fascinating.
And I don't think that's how the movie was.
No, that is definitely not how the movie was. I didn't even see that movie, and I know that Captain America is not dead.
No, well, the Winter Soldier ends up taking over it and becoming Captain America.
In the movie?
And I think the comic book. So I don't know if they kill Captain America in the Civil War. No, because he's in all the other movies, right?
I mean, it looks like he's going to be in the future ones, and
Yeah.
there's the whole other Avengers.
Yeah,
that's about to
exactly.
come out.
So they didn't follow the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, but also, I think Mike Lawrence said this. He was like, they're never going to make a movie that's going to appease me or all of the comic book fans. These movies are for people that aren't really into comic books
Right.
as heavy as other people. Like, it still has to be digestible to the rest of America. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right. I agree with you on that because I say this as somebody who's never really read comic books. I've read a handful, maybe. I'm vaguely familiar with superheroes as a concept because of movies. I watched Spider-Man, and I thought Spider-Man, the original, Sam Raimi, first two, did a great job.
Yeah.
I love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I am a big fan of Deadpool.
Yes.
I liked Iron Man.
Mhm.
I liked Iron Man 2. I liked, what was another superhero movie that I saw that I liked? It's another Marvel movie. I can't remember it right now. It's not Captain America because I've never seen any of those. It's not Thor. Not even Ant-Man.
Hulks?
No, I never saw the Hulk either.
The Incredible Hulk was, I mean,
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Guardians of
which
the
isn't
Galaxy.
even to me really a superhero movie. It's more of a space opera.
Yeah.
But those movies are made for dudes like me who have not really read a lot of comic books and don't really know all the crazy backstory that goes on because this shit runs deep.
Yeah, man.
You know, the comic books have been around as an art form since what the 40s.
I think even before that.
Even before that, these have been around for a long time. They've gone through reboots and new storylines, and in the past decade, they've already gone through the New 52 and the Marvel franchises have all gone rebooted on the comic book end too.
Mhm.
And I only know a tiny bit about that
Yeah, I
because
remember
I
when-
don't read comic books.
Yeah,
I just know that these things are happening.
I remember when Blue Beetle died. It was a huge deal. And
I didn't even know who Blue Beetle
yeah,
is.
it was a comic. And then, like, I remember I still have, like, the first 8 I still have double copies, first editions of the first 8 Civil Wars. I think some of them got damaged when I was moving, but then I have a bunch of other ones of the Ultimates, which is the Ultimates was a great series, and then that ended up becoming kind of the Avengers movies.
Wow.
Like where it's like that was it was in a different universe, and that's when like fucking that was the first comic book that had basically Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury.
Okay.
It was like a comic that comes out and you're just like, oh sweet, and he's like, I'm Nick Fury. You're like, oh shit, it's Samuel L. Jackson, and then they did it in the movie, and you're like, oh fuck, they called it. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a comic book, either series or character, that has not shown up in a movie yet that you wish they would make a movie about?
There's a really good. I mean, there's a really good movie or really good book series. There's a few. Why the Last Man, really good book series. There was talks about Shia LaBeouf playing him, and it's basically about a disease that hits and that basically kills everything with a Y chromosome except one dude and one monkey.
Okay.
And basically it's just him like going through this world, and it's really interesting because it's like they're trying to figure out what caused it, and they never really explain it, but like it's fucking nuts. And then like the first like 8 books are just about him trying to find the like figuring out the cure, and then like people go nuts, like people go fucking crazy, like because there's no men, and then like once they find out he's a dude, like there's a bunch of like crazy situations that happen. Mostly a lot of people just wanting to fucking kill him, which is crazy.
All women.
Yeah, all women. And then there's like I think there's one issue where like the like astronauts come crashing and they're like, oh shit, there's 2 dudes on board. Yeah, it's a pretty good book.
Interesting.
I'd want to see that, and then
well, we got to wrap up. I
Oh,
do
shit.
want to ask one other question.
okay, go ahead.
If there were, and you can use your second answer as this one. If there were a comic book franchise that you would want to make a movie about yourself, whether it's writing it, directing it, being in it, what would it be?
Oh, okay. It would probably be DMZ.
What is DMZ?
It's by Brian Wood, and I recommend everyone reads it because it's way too crazy, like what's going on now. But it's about a war that gets started in the Middle East, and then basically the military goes and they're all fucking with that war. And then there's like a homegrown sect of people. I think it starts in like the Midwest, kind of like Texas and everything. They kind of form
Texas
their own,
is not the Midwest.
whatever. Anyways, the South states. They start their own militia, and basically because they're like, we don't want to be in this fucking war, blah blah blah. And then they basically go, and while the military is gone, they take over these small military encampments, and then basically push from the middle of the country all the way to New York. And then by the time that happens, the regular military forces come back, so they take over the furthest island in New York. So they're pushed on, and they're just on this island. And then Manhattan becomes a demilitarized zone, and then the rest is just the rest of America. So it becomes like I think it's like America, and then the new America, and it's just all of these stories in the demilitarized zone. It's a really good book.
That sounds fascinating. Well, I would love to check those things out. I guess get them at your local comic book shop, right?
Yeah, man. New comic Tuesday, every Tuesday.
Hey, fun fact. Frank, I'm sorry that Wanted disappointed you, buddy.
Yeah.
I thought Wanted was a great movie, and a lot of other people did too, but I can see why, just like any other comic book movie, it has detractors like yourself.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's all right.
Thanks for coming on today,
My
dude.
pleasure, man.
It was really cool to hear your passionate defense.
I was
of the
very
original.
excited to be here, and I'm glad I made sure to reread. Like, I was like, when we were doing the podcast at the fucking house, I was like, I'm explaining this terribly. And so you not recording it right. It was a godsend. It was a godsend. It was
a godshot there. Where can my listeners find you, Frank?
Frank Castillo on Instagram, Frank C Comedy on Twitter. And Verbal Violence, all that good jazz. You can find me and Jay at the Roast Battle, seating people.
Verbal Violence. Frank is a frequent co-host on that part of the Verbal Violence Network, which I am also on, thankfully. Very cool to be a part of that. You can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates, and please leave a review, rate us in iTunes, subscribe. Helps me out, helps the podcast out. It's always cool to get some listeners. Frank, thanks for coming on today, man.
My pleasure, Jay. I love you.
This has been Blockbusting, and next time, go see something good for a change.